So, episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
I made the executive decision. This
Okay,
is
you're
episode
in
2.
charge.
That was
Jeez.
episode 1. This is episode 2. This is going to be kind of the history of Swink, how it got
Mhm.
started, kind of more of you/y'all's background and how we got here as a gym.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, Andre,
Yes, that's me.
you are Andre. Give us a quick background of you, kind of
Ooh.
you as a person. Where you were born, where you grew up, what's your favorite color?
North Philadelphia, I was born and raised.
Mm,
And the
Okay.
playground is where I spent most of my days.
okay, okay.
What, do you think that's funny?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, I could do the whole thing if you
If
wanted
I
to.
keep laughing, you'll do
Yeah,
it.
just keep going through the whole thing. Born Texas. Lived in Lancaster for a long time. Moved to Midlothian in high school. Graduated, thought I knew what I wanted to do in college. Come to find out, it wasn't my specific calling, I don't think. Maybe it was. Maybe it could have been.
What was it?
Fashion design.
Mhm.
Why?
Because I wanted to work for Nike.
That was your goal? That was
Yeah,
your that
it
was what you wanted to do?
100% the end goal. I was going to get done, boom, apply, leave, go to Nike.
Mhm.
I was going to do it. Y'all better believe I was going to do it.
I believe it.
I would not, if you walked in the gym one day and said, hey, I'm working for Nike now, like, where I have to
It
find a
wouldn't
new
be that
owner.
surprising.
Okay, okay.
Wouldn't be that surprising. We'd have to find a new owner. They're just out there at Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided, I don't know. I don't know if I decided. I think it was just kind of like where everything led. I don't know. The road led me to doing or being a trainer. And then,
But why that?
okay, so let's dive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
do
deep
this.
in this. So it was around 2006 or 7. I was working at the YMCA in college at University of North Texas.
Go Me Green.
Go Mean Green. I thought he said something. I don't know what he thought he said.
Gummy green, I heard.
Gummy Green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Mean Green.
Yeah, call.
And it so then I thought, or while I was at the YMCA in college, finishing what I only had 2 semesters left of my degree. I was also coaching a swim team at the YMCA, coaching private lessons at the YMCA, lifeguarding at the YMCA, doing a little bit of everything at the YMCA. One of my students, or one of my kids that I was training, his dad had told me, or had asked me, have you ever heard of something called CrossFit? And I was like, I don't know what that is. I'll look it up, right? He was like, I think you would like it. I've seen the workouts you guys do in the gym. I think that's something that you would like. Come to find out, I Googled it, and then there was only, I think, literally a handful in the DFW area in 2006 or 7, somewhere around there. And one of them was, and I was in Coppell at the time, and one was in Denton. And I was living in Carrollton, working in Coppell, but going to school in Denton. For anybody who doesn't know where those are located, they're about 30 minutes from Denton, those 2 places. And I was like, I'm not driving 30 minutes to go to the gym for something I don't know if I like. And so I would look on CrossFit.com and see the workouts that they would post. And then, like anybody who has ever tried something they don't know, you kind of find the one that looks like it's something you are interested in. People tell me all the time, they're like, yeah, just look up a YouTube workout and then I'll do that one, which probably means they search for 10 or 15 minutes to find the workout that they like and then do it.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Versus.
So
active.
I would try one, and then it would kick me in the ass, right? I mean, I'd be sweating and out of breath and thought it was the absolute greatest thing in the world. I don't know why. And then I remember roping some of my friends into it. At the time, this was my buddy Austin, who was my
Shout
best
out.
man in my wedding. And then Carlo, which was another one of my groomsmen in my wedding, who I'm in his wedding now.
Another shout out.
Yeah. I was in Austin's wedding too. Anyway, no bragging. But I remember roping those guys into doing some of the workouts with me. And I remember the first time I saw Fran, the workout. And for anybody who doesn't know what Fran is, it's 21 reps, 15 reps, and 9 reps of a thruster and then a pull-up. So you would do 21 thrusters, 21 pull-ups, then 15 of each and 9 of each. If you're not sure what a thruster is, it's just a quick Google search. And you can try to do it as fast as you can. And I remember doing it in the YMCA with bars that you can't drop the plates, that kind of thing. And it was 95 pounds. I was like, this is not even 100 pounds. This is going to be the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. And I think I weighed 145 pounds then. So it's like 3/4 of my body weight. And I remember stopping after the 15, like, there's no way I can finish this. And I didn't finish Fran the first time I did it.
Wow.
Know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That.
And then I was like, I will be good at this one day. And then we found another gym, me and Carlo in Austin, near my apartment that had bumper plates, that had a rig. I've never seen a rig at this point. It was a Rogue rig. It was the coolest thing ever. And I remember one day me and Carlo saying, man, we were doing deadlifts with 135 pounds. And we were like, one day we'll be able to power clean this, right? Like we'll be able to put this on our shoulders. And then
At
we did that.
135.
Yeah, 135 pounds, something that we can do repetitions now, which is great, right? Like everybody has a starting point. For anybody who's listening, 135 pounds is a great milestone. And then I remember telling him one day we'll be able to put this over our head, like be able to push it over our head. And then we were finally able to do that. And mind you, this is like 2008 at this point, and camera phones were shit. Like the resolution, I think, was...
I wish you still had some of those videos.
Yeah, I know. I really do too, because I remember I did my first muscle up there, and Carlos recording me, and I think I looked like I was trying not to go in like really cold water. My feet are just paddling, trying to turn over.
Oh, yeah.
And so I finally got one, and I remember recording it on a camera phone, and you really couldn't make out what it was, but it was there. Funny story, I remember the first time I ever tried a muscle up was in the YMCA, and they didn't have rings, and they didn't have straps or anything like that. They didn't even have a high pull-up bar. But I saw one watching people do it, as I'm sure anybody has. It looks like the easiest thing you've ever done in your life. So I put chains on the pull-up bar. I put the little handles for a pulley system on the chains.
Oh my gosh.
And I tried one.
Strict?
Yeah, because I don't know what
Yeah.
kipping is. I don't,
Yeah.
I tried one strict, and I immediately took the chains off the pull-up bar and put everything back away.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
oh no, I can't do
That's
this
not
at all.
gonna work.
This isn't going to work at all.
Yeah.
Then it became a fun thing. We started training together, doing CrossFit type things. We didn't have a gym or a program or anything like that. We just kind of followed CrossFit.com. And then simultaneously, I had gone on a cruise with my mom and some of her work friends, actually. And we had discussions about getting her in shape. At the time, my mom was really unhealthy. I don't want to say really like she was on her deathbed or anything, but she was really unhealthy. She wasn't eating well. She was overweight.
Just kind of bad habits.
Bad habits,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, most of America, for that matter.
Not active.
Yeah, not active. Definitely not working out. And we had talked about when we came back from the cruise, getting started working out. And so what happened was I was in Carrollton and she was in Midlothian, which is about an hour away, roughly, just depending on how fast or slow you drive. And so she would come up on the weekends with my sister, and they would stay with me on the weekends, and we would work out like Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Friday, Saturday, and they would go home Sunday, just depending. And it was really great for a period of time. But as anybody knows, really working out 2 days a week is great if you change all your other habits, except this wasn't the case. It was just 2 days a week of working out, and really not much was changing. So I remember talking to her and saying, I can probably come down to Midlothian while I'm in school still, 3 days a week, if you can find some friends to quote unquote sign up with you for this exercise program, so that way I can pay my gas bill going down there. So I would come down Monday night, Wednesday night, Friday night. I would actually stay the night and then work out again Saturday morning with the same people. So we were going to do 4 days a week. And I remember talking to her, and we were like, okay, we'll get this thing rolling. We'll print some flyers. What are we going to call it? We'll call it Swink Fitness. Her
Because
salon was already called Swink Color Bar, and we'll dive into that in a second. And then I think she had like 18 people sign up, which was way more than I really realized it was going to be. I thought maybe 4 or 5, all with the hopes of getting my mom back in, or getting my mom into better shape and starting the routine of her weight loss and whatnot. And 18 people was a pretty big bite to swallow, because then I realized this could actually potentially be something. What was once a hobby could now be a profession.
So how was that first class when 18 people showed up? No history
Where
other
did
than
you do it?
Yeah, we did
What
it
did you
in
do?
her parking lot of her salon. Actually, it wasn't even the parking lot. I think it was like it's a little small field. Not even a field. It's a small grassy area.
It's like a backyard. It's an
Backyard.
old building, and it's a
Yeah,
backyard.
next to her building.
but like not having any real experience group fitness
Oh my gosh,
classes.
Dude.
Like
I had a yellow notepad, and I had wrote down the entire days what we were going to do. Warm up, skill work, workout, exactly how long everything was going to take. I even drew, because we did like, most people would call them suicides, where you run to one cone and back and then a further cone and back. I even drew a picture of where the cones were on the notepad, like as if that's going to translate to the ground.
yeah.
I just drew them on there so that way I knew what they were. But I had an entire week completely laid out in this yellow notepad. And I remember her saying something like, oh yeah, I think we have like about 10 people. And so then I was like, oh, I really, really have to be prepared for this, right? And then when I got there, I think it was roughly or about 18 people, if I'm remembering correctly, in April of 2011. And I was like, oh no, this is something I didn't expect at all. But needless to say, it went really well. And then Wednesday went really well. And then Friday went really well. And then Saturday morning went really well. And so, I mean, honestly, it's like, I don't know, history from that point. You know, that was like
it just
day
became
one.
more and more
Yeah.
like justified to stay and
Yeah.
do more of it.
And honestly, it was just so that way I could pay my gas to get down there. And food, of course, because then I wouldn't leave till late. We had one class time. So then when I got home, I would get something to eat. Usually it was from La Madeleine or La Madeleine, however you say it.
It's been a minute since we had that.
And it was really good. Back then, it was really good. It's probably still really good
we
now.
should go for old time's sake.
And so I was looking to pay gas and food. And we had more than that. And then we had more than that. And then we had more than that. And then it just kept going and going. And it seemed like it could be potentially a living. But the word Swink, I know I get asked this a lot. People ask if it's a family name or something like that. So when my mom decided to open up her second salon, she doesn't have two, but when she decided to open up a salon again, she had a salon, went to work for somebody, and then decided to open up one a second time. We were trying to figure out words or a name for it, and we couldn't really figure out what would roll off the tongue right. We didn't know. We didn't want to call it Midlothian, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, something really generic or vanilla, right?
Yeah.
Boring. So we were trying to find words that had like a deeper meaning, hidden meaning, whatever you want to call it. And I remember talking to her on the phone as I'm in Carrollton in college, and she's here in Midlothian. And I was Googling all different types of words and trying to find different cool meanings and things like that. And I remember running across Swink, and she was like, well, what does that one mean? And I said, well, it's an archaic word, which just to me just means old, right? And it said to drudge or to toil. And she goes, I kind of like that. Let me come back to it. And I said, okay. But as I kept saying more and more words, she's like, I don't know. I really like the word Swink. And the main reason why is because she was going into a building that was an old train station for trains.
Imagine that.
Yeah, for trains, you know.
It's like it's a historic building in the city.
In Midlothian, yeah. It's an historic building, and it was a wreck. It needed paint. First of all, it needed to be cleaned. That's the base of it. It needed to be painted. It needed to be, oh God, it needed I mean, when she showed it to
Everything.
me, I was like, what the hell are we looking at? I remember saying that. And then she was like, I can see this is going to be perfect. And she saw it, so whatever, right? So when we decided on the word swink, it made sense because we were going to have to do a lot of working or a lot of drudging and a lot of toiling to make this building of hers be something that it wasn't. And this was in 2010. So she named her business Swink Color Bar. Color meaning that she was going to color people's hair in bar or whatever, So then when it came to 2011 for me to open or do the gym, we were like, why do people have multiple businesses and call them different things? It made sense to be, if one was doing well and then you heard the name on something else, it would make sense to be like, oh, that must be the same people. They probably do a good job because they do a good job over here. And so we named it Swink Fitness when we first started because it was easy. It was the quickest thing to recognize what we were doing. And so we did Swink Fitness.
And then fast forward, now there's Swink Photography, Swink Sports Medicine, Swink Nutrition, a whole ecosystem of swinks.
Yeah.
A number of things. So it made sense to keep them all the same name, and so reputability could be easily recognized across all different things, all the different businesses. But Swink, there it is.
Swink,
Swink, there it is.
Swink, there it is.
All right. So,
Good job.
Was there one specific point when you were training people, that you realized, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all in on this, or did it just kind of
exactly,
grow
That's
and
a good
take
question.
priority slowly over other things?
So we were doing this outside in April. So as you can imagine, Texas weather in April can be very unpredictable. Just recently, this April, we've had
It was 80
It was
degrees
30
last week.
degrees.
a couple
day
of days
after it
ago it
was
was 36 degrees at night. Today it's like 50 degrees, 54, and a couple of days ago it was like 80 something. So we were outside. We were, battling the weather and roughing the storm. Is that the right term? I don't know.
Sure.
Running suicides in the rain.
Yeah. It was muddy, needless to say. But then we went through summer, and we had, obviously, the clear. And Texas summers are hot and, for the most part, dry. So we were outside through May, June, July, August. Rolls around. It starts getting into the weird weather again, September. And this is 2011. And I remember thinking, because it was starting to get cold again, it would start to rain again. And then people weren't showing up because, we're outside. Who wants to be in the rain and whatnot? So I remember looking around town and trying to find like a shell of a building just so we could be inside. Unfortunately, I would have to have overhead at this point and pay rent. And so when we found the building, you don't just go month to month. You have to sign a lease. And I think at that point it was a year lease. And I remember signing the lease thinking, okay, if I'm going to sign a year lease, this might have to be something that I actually start to take seriously. I remember painting the building, the inside of the building, the walls, doing like a design on it. I had posters hanging.
Pictures.
Yeah, there was no flooring though. It was cement. And everybody brought their own dumbbells. We had a room in the back, a little closet where people stored all their dumbbells. And we kept everything in there.
Their own personal
dumbbells. And they brought their own yoga mats, and they stored their yoga mats there. We had a bathroom. We had a water faucet. I had a little office that I would do weight and measurements in, and then cement floors to work out on, and their dumbbells. But truly, when we signed that lease, I was like, okay, this might be a potentially go for it thing. And then
So you went for it.
Yeah, it was around that time where we went into fall semester or finishing fall semester. About to start fall semester in August, right? And I was like, I don't know if this makes sense anymore. I don't know if I can do both at once. And I remember thinking, okay, I can put school on hold. It'll always be there.
Yeah.
And then I can always come back to it if this doesn't pan out. Well, come to find out, the 2 semesters that I had left were specific to fall and spring. So I couldn't actually enroll for another entire year if I wanted to go back to school. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just give it an entire year and see if this is good. And then I signed a year lease. And that's when I was like, well, a year into it, I was like, I don't think I'm going to go back to school.
This is going to work out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go back to school.
And were you the only
one
coach, the only instructor, the only no employees, no help,
no,
nothing
other than friends?
Yeah, that was it. I was the only person running class, sweeping the cement floor,
mopping.
Not yet.
Well, yeah, not till you got floor mats.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just me. And I think at that point I had like 2 classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't even know if I did, actually. I think I only had 1 class. Still like we were doing outside, just now inside.
Yeah.
Braving the elements.
No AC, no.
No, I mean, we had it, but it was really expensive.
There was a big garage door.
Yeah.
So it was just.
Yeah, that thing cost money, dude.
So that was your first location, and that was
first location, 2011.
Okay.
Going into 2012.
Okay. And then how long were you there?
I think we were there the end of the year 2011, and I think we moved in the first quarter of 2012, because as I started to know we were going to make that work, it was okay. Now maybe we should start, or I should start investing into this thing, and
providing equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Equipment, like structure.
Yeah.
I know, it needs
Just
to
a
look
better
like a gym.
space for the people who are paying you.
Yeah, because they're bringing their own equipment, and I'm just telling them what to do more or less and coaching them. Now I wish I wanted to provide for them. Mm-hmm. So the first quarter of 2012, in the same location that I was in, they had a bigger facility across the parking lot, and I talked to the owners of the building. Could I transfer my lease over to the bigger one? And of course they agreed, and I think I signed a 3-year lease with them at that point. Oh. Yeah, so even longer, right?
Yeah.
Went across the parking lot, had double the space. So we went from like a 1,400 or 1,200 square foot building, which was basically just a shell, to now roughly 3,000 square feet, and a lot more floor space for sure. But I actually had some help from a family friend of my mom's, actually a customer of my mom's, who was able to sign off on a loan for me to be able to purchase this equipment. At this point, she had seen the progress that my mom has been making. She understood that it was
working.
It was
she was
working.
Investing in
she was investing in something that wasn't
investment.
just like a startup. It was actually had been going for close to a year now. Mm-hmm. So she invested in it, or I say invested in it, allowed me to, or co-signed on a loan. So I got a loan for the gym, bought some equipment, bought some flooring, bought some paint, bought an iPad.
Showers.
Yeah, I had showers put in. Really sketchy.
But
hey, they were showers. And it was a whole new world, as they say.
And then, so how long were you at that building?
3 years, 2015.
2015.
From 2012 to 2015.
And then you moved into the current building?
Current building in 2015.
So, okay.
We've been here for 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we actually hit 10 years of training this month, April.
I thought it was September.
April 2021, 10 years.
Oh.
April of 2011 is when you started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
In the parking lot, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I thought it was
damn
September.
COVID, can't do a large, massive get-together. Actually, I want to, but, we'll
yeah,
talk about that.
Don't know.
Shh, don't tell the authorities. But yeah, so it's been 10 years since being in that parking lot to now the building we're in and on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So parking lot to podcast.
Parking lot to podcast. That's the name of it.
You can't steal that name.
So the buildings have changed, obviously.
This building has changed many times.
This specific building has changed many a times. We've put down and taken up that rig.
Too many times to count.
No more.
How have your approaches changed? Like, how is your kind of approach to fitness, approach to...
Sure. Yeah, so one, I remember. Hang on, we got an alarm going off.
Eat your snack.
I remember when I first started and went through my CrossFit level 1 and getting all the accredited certifications. Is that how you say it?
I know. I don't know what you're allowed to say
Yeah,
anymore, to be honest.
Anyways, I got
You got level
trained.
1.
Yeah, I got a level 1 through CrossFit. I remember thinking that was the holy grail of training. I remember thinking like,
You know everything.
yeah, I got this shit locked down. Yeah. And I remember doing it, and no one had really done CrossFit widespread at that point around 2011, 2012. I mean, I think some people had heard about it. There were a few more popping up in random places, but not everybody had tried it, right? And so for a lot of people, including myself, everything was brand new, and it was so shiny and fancy, and oh wow, what's a power clean? And for the most common person or the regular person working out, they don't do power cleans or they don't do deadlifts, and so I thought that was the end all be all. So we did CrossFit for a long time. I want to say probably at least 4 or 5 years straight CrossFit. And I remember around when we moved in this building in 2015, I remember thinking, okay, I don't want to be like every other CrossFit gym. When we moved in this building, it had 3 air conditioning units. I was done being in the elements. I was done being a box or whatever the hell, right? Because I took more pride in it being a box. Like, I think of a box as literally a cardboard box. Nothing wrong with them. But I put a lot more time and effort into the painting, into the flooring, keeping it clean.
We don't want to throw our people into a cardboard box.
I don't want to put them in a box. I was like, it's a gym, right? I respect it more than a box. And I remember moving here in 2015 and thinking, I don't want to be like every other CrossFit gym. I want it to be nice. I want it to be higher end. I want it to be something that if you're paying $100+ a month for it, then what are the amenities, right? Like, I mean, I lived in apartment complexes all throughout college, and I would pick the apartment complexes based on how dope the pool was. What's the fitness center look like? I mean, you know, like there's so many things that you pay for that come with it.
Quality of life.
Yeah. And so with this gym, I remember we had air conditioning units, 3 of them. We still do, obviously. And I remember I'm done being in the elements. I don't want to be in the extreme heat. I don't want to be in the extreme cold. I'm fine with the in-between, but I don't want to coach all day and be freezing, or I don't want to be coaching all day and be sweating. So I was like, one of the main things we're going to have is air conditioning. I'm going to keep it temperature regulated. That's different than the CrossFit of the old. It was like, it was meant to be grungy, or it was like a prideful thing to be grungy and
The warehouse, rusty,
nasty,
janky,
tetanus, right? Athlete's foot. I mean, you name it. Like,
We've been
it's a
into some
breeding ground for
sketch.
diseases, and this is pre-COVID. So
Yeah.
I remember thinking that and like, okay, I want it to be like a nicer experience. I want it to be an upscale experience. And then how can I provide better than that experience when it comes to training?